Imagine holding a dry, weathered seed in the palm of your hand. It is small, rough, and seemingly ordinary. But what if I told you that hidden beneath that rustic shell lies a fierce solution for self-sufficiency, one powerful enough to forge a path completely independent of the trillion-dollar, fossil fuel-dependent world outside? Do you believe that over a century ago, humanity was already capable of running colossal machines smoothly and perpetually without a single drop of heavy, black fossil energy? The modern world has programmed us to believe that energy must be tethered to massive pipelines, resource wars, and exorbitant monthly bills. Yet, in a quiet, untouched corner of America, the Amish community has embraced a humble truth. Energy freedom does not lie in deep oil wells. It sprouts from beneath the soft, friable loam. Today, let us open a little-known chronicle to rediscover Mother Earth's forgotten ecological wisdom of self-reliance. Observing a bustling Amish harvest in Holmes County, Ohio for the first time, I was truly bewildered. The diesel engine of a tractor hummed steadily and powerfully, yet with a strange, soothing quietness. There were no plumes of suffocating black smoke, no pungent stench of petroleum, and across the entire farm, absolutely no reliance on massive fuel tanks or tangled pipelines. There was only an orchard, heavy with seed, standing quietly beside a timber-framed barn. The farmer calmly stepped forward and poured a golden, shimmering liquid, a natural biofuel meticulously pressed from the very seeds grown on this land, into the machine's adapted fuel system. The engine turned over, running flawlessly. The tree stretching quietly toward the sky out there is named Moringa oleifera, commonly known as the moringa tree. It is not an amateur experiment. It is a magnificent testament to energy independence. The seeds of this plant contain 38 to 40% pure oil, 70% of which is oleic acid, a composition remarkably similar to the finest olive oil in your kitchen. It burns incredibly cleanly, remains largely unaffected when bitter winter blizzards strike, and emits no toxic exhaust. A mature tree can quietly yield 3 to 5 liters of oil each year. A modest orchard of 100 saplings, soaring to 15 feet in their very first year, is the perfect foundation for a farm to operate its machinery sustainably. No exploratory drilling, no complex refineries, no disruptions from global supply chains, and absolutely no manipulation by market forces. Why is such a masterful, natural solution absent from our common agricultural manuals and daily lives? The answer lies in the shadowed, turbulent corners of economic history. Stepping back to the year 1900 at the dazzling Paris World's Fair, Rudolf Diesel, the great father of the diesel engine, stood before the world and started his invention using cold-pressed peanut oil. He left behind a profound vision in his journal. The use of vegetable oils for engine fuels may seem insignificant today, but such oils may become, in the course of time, as important as petroleum. 8 years later, in 1908, Henry Ford unveiled the legendary Model T, designed from its inception to run on both gasoline and ethanol distilled from fermented farm crops. The dawn of the mechanized era was once tinted with the green of freedom. The technology was ready, the knowledge was ripe, and nature had opened the path. Yet the wheels of history shifted as the commercial oil extraction and refining industry entered an era of explosive growth. In the 1880s, through Standard Oil, John D. Rockefeller's empire rapidly monopolized up to 90% of oil refining in the United States. The strategy of this system was to optimize costs and dictate the fuel consumption habits of an entire society. By driving the price of fossil fuels down to rock-bottom levels, petroleum quickly eclipsed biological energy sources, reshaping the competitive landscape of the market. In 1913, Rudolf Diesel passed away suddenly while crossing the English Channel, a departure that left the scientific world in profound sorrow. By 1925, the fierce commercial momentum of the petroleum industry had driven legal and economic frameworks to impose limits on ethanol, cementing gasoline as the universal and sole option at pumps across America. The grand vision of an agriculture that wove its own fuel was temporarily buried deep in the earth. Step by step, over the following 2 decades, the agricultural paradigm shifted toward industrialization, replacing natural draft animals with fossil fuel-guzzling machines, trading traditional humus for synthetic fertilizers extracted from natural gas, and swapping natural predators for petrochemical-based pesticides. A once self-sufficient ecosystem gracefully surrendered its autonomy to a centralized supply chain. Dear friend, as we turn back these turbulent pages of history together, you must surely feel a deep reverence for the ecological knowledge that has been left behind. If you are someone who constantly yearns for freedom, who longs to reclaim a self-sufficient life, and who refuses to surrender your family's fate to the industrial systems out there, then we are walking the same path. Please take a quiet moment to press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave a few lines in the comments to share your reflections. The rustic and sincere bond of our community is the very flame that fuels my journey to unearth historical secrets, placing the heirloom seeds of autonomy back into your hands. Returning to the story of energy, although that sprawling industrial system swept across the globe, it never managed to alter the agrarian mindset of communities like the Amish. Their dedication to preserving traditional values and the philosophy of Gelassenheit, graceful yielding to nature, helped them perfectly preserve this primal heritage. They continued to press oil, they continued to sow seeds. Many might wonder, moringa is inherently a warm climate plant. So how do farms in the freezing northern latitudes cultivate it? The wisdom of Amish farmers in northern Ohio answers that question spectacularly. In frost-prone regions, they plant moringa in large containers, bringing them indoors before winter strikes, or cultivate them as short-season crops, racing to harvest seeds during the brief, warm summer months. Furthermore, they are endlessly adaptable, practicing companion planting with sunflowers and hemp. Sunflower seeds hold 45 to 50% oil, while hemp seeds contribute 25 to 35%. Both of these resilient crops embrace the bitter northern cold, and both are cold-pressed through rustic mechanical presses that are affordable and endure for years. That pure, pristine oil, once filtered, is poured directly into modified farm machinery without ever passing through a commercial refinery. Energy sovereignty does not demand a massive tract of land. It requires only a seed, a press, and the fierce will to reject dependency. However, the value of the moringa tree does not end in the combustion chamber. There is a quiet truth recorded in World Health Organization (WHO) field reports in 2007, rooted in a profound study by the University of Leicester, published in 2005. In developing nations or regions battered by natural disasters, where clean water is a luxury, international relief organizations do not rely solely on industrial chemical disinfectants. They utilize crushed moringa seeds. Specific natural proteins within the seeds act as a biological coagulant, binding tightly with impurities and common microorganisms in polluted water, such as E. coli, salmonella, and other pathogens. This mechanism clumps those suspended particles together and rapidly pulls them to the bottom of the vessel under the gentle pull of gravity. Under rigorous field testing conditions, the rate of impurities and microbes in contaminated water plummeted by a staggering 90 to 99% in just 30 minutes. A tiny handful of seeds can effectively filter and settle a liter of murky water. A single mature moringa tree provides enough seeds to help purify drinking water for an entire family for a full year. Relief organizations trust this method because it is swift, safer than the heavy use of raw chemicals, requires no refrigeration, and can be performed by anyone with basic instruction. Reflect upon this magnificent choreography of nature. The very same tree standing quietly in the corner of your yard provides a natural oil to light your home and power the machinery on your farm. While it strikes its roots to survive, it helps fix nutrients from the air to restore the fertility of Mother Earth. And those very same seeds become a natural filtration solution, protecting human health when pure water runs dry. It demands no exorbitant maintenance fees, no complex technological equipment, and no commercial permit to sprout. This knowledge has always existed. It has lain dormant in the age-old agricultural ledgers of traditional farmers, in the notes of early 20th century researchers, and in academic archives that are rarely shared with the world. The industrial energy complex does not need to forbid you from planting a tree. They only need to maintain a hurried, breathless pace of life, steering everyone toward consumer convenience, ensuring we rarely have the quiet presence of mind to sow a seed with our own hands. But now, the historical veil has been lifted. When we understand that at the very dawn of the mechanized era, machines were designed to run on Mother Earth's own biological oil, rather than fossilized petroleum, does it change how you view today's exorbitant energy costs? True abundance and independence have never been hidden in the depths of oil wells. They rest right beneath the soft, friable loam, waiting only for a quiet hand to sow a green sprout. If today's story has brought you a moment of peaceful stillness, I will see you again in our next journey of sharing slow living and primal ecological wisdom.